So next step is credit monitoring. So with business credit, you have different business credit reporting agencies. It's not the same ones that we leverage for personal or consumer credit. So the top three, and I didn't list them here, but just for your knowledge, the top three are Dun & Bradstreet, which we've already talked about, Experian Business, and Equifax Business. Okay, so what I'm showing you right here is actually a snapshot of somebody's business credit scores. And I'm going to show you this. So this is actually how business credit reports. It's the weirdest thing. I have no idea why it's done this way, but they don't report the name of your creditor. What you see is the business category that they fall into. So hardware might be Home Depot or Lowe's or something like that. Office supplies could be Staples or Quill or something like that. Packaging might be, I don't know, Uline or any of those types of companies. So they don't report the name of the company, but they do report the date that it was last reported, when their last sale was, your payment terms, your recent high credit. They don't put your credit limit on there. So even though you might have a $15,000 credit limit, if you only charge $500 on that card, $500 is going to show there, right? And then it's going to show whatever your current balance is. And then it shows your payment history. If you see DBT, that is days beyond terms. DBT is not good. You want that to be 0. So basically that means that you pay that invoice late. So if you paid 1 to 30 days late, it would show up here. 31 to 60 days late would be here. 61 to 90 here, and 91 plus there. And they might have some comment like you've been a customer for 1 year or something like that. All right. But what I really want you to pay attention to is with this credit profile, their recommendation for a credit limit would be $15,600. That's what it's saying when you apply. So they, on the creditor's end, they're getting a recommendation of what they should be extending to you in terms of credit. So this one has a recommendation of $65,600. Well, look at that. They've got this huge credit that's showing up as a contract. So I don't know what that might be, but it's financial services. So it could be some type of bank loan or line of credit maybe, but it's showing a recent high credit of $100,000. So the bigger these numbers are in the high credit column, the bigger the recommendation is, assuming that you're paying your bills on time and maintaining a good credit score. So this one, look how robust this credit profile is. They've got, I'm guessing, about a dozen accounts that are reporting. And look at the high credit. This one has a high credit of $448,000. And it's a bank. So yeah, it's probably some type of loan product. But their credit limit recommendation is $724,000. So the more you use your credit, the higher your credit limit recommendations are going to be when you apply for more credit. So that's why it's important to not only obtain these credit accounts, but you got to use them. You got to use them and have that report and show your payment history on that credit as well. So now that you have established you've got your business credit monitoring set up, the next step is to start getting approved for these vendor accounts and using them. Okay, so this is critically important. There is a process that this has to follow. If you go out of order, you're going to mess this up. So in order for you to stay on track and be able to get approved every time that you're applying for something, it has to be done in this way. Okay. So there are starter vendors that you have to start with in tier 1. So these are typically going to be net 30 accounts. And basically what that means is when you make that purchase, you're going to get an invoice. That invoice is going to be due in 30 days. So you have 30 days to pay. Okay, so it has to be paid in full. It's not like a revolving credit account where you can pay a portion of it and roll a balance. It has to be paid in full in that 30 days. And so there are specific vendors that fall in that tier one that you have to start with. You can't go around that process. Okay, so that's step one. Once you have 5 of those vendors, you don't want to move on to tier 2 until you have 5 in tier 1 that are reporting. Now, you will have a credit score that gets generated with Paydex. That's the Dun & Bradstreet credit score. That Paydex score is generated once you have 3 reporting. We recommend that you have 5 just so you can speed up the process, because not every vendor reports at the same time. So all of them don't report monthly. All of them don't report at the first of the month. So it may be a delay of 60 days or 90 days before that actually shows up on your business credit report. So bottom line is, try to get as many of those tier 1s as you can, ideally 5, before you move on to tier 2. But critically important, you need to have that score, those credit scores generated before you go to tier 2, or else you're going to get declined. So I threw in this optional step here because I do want to point out that there are opportunities for you to get business credit cards that require a personal guarantee if you need funding like that right away. Because again, it's going to take you time to work up to getting those major credit cards strictly under the business EIN. So just know that there is opportunity for you to get major credit cards that you can personally guarantee if you have a strong credit profile. And what I mean by strong is 680 is the bare minimum. 700 is ideal. But if you have a 680 credit score and you are willing to personally guarantee, you can get business credit cards, but they're going to, in some cases, report on your personal credit reports. So it may show up on both. So you may have it on your personal and on your business. All right. Next, we'll talk about tier 2. So now you've got 5 that are reporting to those business credit agencies, and you've got your credit scores established. At tier 2, you're going to be applying for retail and fleet credit cards. These are revolving accounts. Most of them are revolving accounts. So now you can go from having to pay in full in 30 days to having a revolving account that you can roll a balance on. You still want to use that credit responsibly, because if you're over leveraged, that can start to impact your score as well. But those retail cards, I mean, I'm talking about Home Depot, Walmart, Sam's, Best Buy. There's tons of them. But those retail accounts will have very high limits. When you compare what you would get approved for at Walmart with your personal credit versus what you would get approved for with your business, it's like night and day. These are huge amounts compared to what you would get approved for as a consumer. Those fleet credit cards, I posted the other day about a card that we have called WEX. Well, WEX is a fleet card. And I don't know why I was thinking that I could only use this for gas. Well, it's time for me to have my car serviced. And I said, oh, let me just go to the website and see if I can use this at the Mercedes dealership to get my car serviced. And lo and behold, the car dealership was right there on that list when I did a search. I can take my car and get it serviced and use my business credit card because I use my car for business. I can use my business credit card to get my car serviced. Isn't that awesome? Y'all, I used my Sam's card to get tires for my car. So all of this, you can leverage these business accounts to do things for your I mean, you're going to use that car for personal use as well, but you can justify using that vehicle for your business because you do. So leverage those opportunities to use your business credit where you normally would, swipe your debit card for it. Okay. So What we want to have at the end of tier 2 is now a total of 10 accounts reporting. All right. So don't move on to tier 3 unless you got 10 reporting in tier 2. Now we're moving on to the big boys. We're in the big leagues now. All right. So now you got major credit cards, Visa, American Express, MasterCard. You can get vehicles financed in your business name. Yes, you can get vehicles financed in your business name. I see truckers using their business credit to finance their trucks and other equipment like trailers and those kinds of things. Y'all, this is a game changer. This is huge. Okay. So at this point, at the end of tier 3, you want to have 14 accounts reporting before you move on to tier 4, which is cash credit. So this is unsecured business funding, lines of credit, business credit cards that even beyond the ones that you got in tier 3, there's more available there. So now you have access to pure cash that you can use for your business, unsecured, with no personal guarantee. How can that change your life? So now you can turn your business into something that is self-sustained. It doesn't need your name and your social security number to be able to access funding. It is completely self-sufficient. Okay. Now I threw in another optional one here, and that is non-reporting trade accounts. There are some accounts that they don't report for whatever reason. But let's just say it's a vendor that you really need to have access to for your business. It would make sense to go ahead and get business credit. It's not going to require a personal guarantee, so why not? Go ahead and get that business credit so you can leverage that. Even though it may not report to the credit agencies, you can leverage those accounts as references, trade references, when you're applying for business credit. So you can still leverage it in some way to help your business credit. So there are hundreds of vendors that fall in that category as well.